All right, welcome to your very own personalized deep dive. You're curious about Java Burn, right? That coffee additive you see everywhere. Sounds familiar, right?
Huh.
You sent us a consumer review you found online and a podcast script, too, both making some pretty big claims about Java Bird's ability to, supercharge your metabolism. And you want to know if there's any truth to it. Totally understandable. There's a ton of info out there about this stuff. Some of it's pretty contradictory, too, so we're here to break it all down for you. We're going to help you figure out what Java Burn is all about.
That's a great goal for this deep dive.
Definitely.
Right.
So to kick things off, one thing that stood out in the review was how the writer was super skeptical at first.
Yeah.
And honestly, I get it. Can just sprinkling something in your coffee really make that much of a difference?
Well, it's certainly smart to approach these things with a healthy dose of skepticism. That's always the best starting point when you're looking at health products like this.
For sure.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin with figuring out if Java Burn is legit?
One of the most important things to consider with any supplement is something called bioavailability.
Bioavailability.
Basically, it's how well your body can actually absorb and use the ingredients.
I see.
Like, it's not enough for them to just be listed on the label. They actually have to be in a form that your body can actually utilize.
Yeah, so
Eh.
even if Java Burn has all these supposed miracle ingredients, it doesn't necessarily mean they'll actually do anything.
Exactly. You got it. And to really understand this, we need to dig into the specific ingredients in Java Burn and what the research actually says about them.
Makes sense.
For example, one ingredient that pops up a lot is green tea extract.
Oh, green tea extract.
Yeah, it's often touted for its metabolism-boosting properties, but some studies suggest that certain compounds in green tea extract,
Mm.
like EGCG, might actually have lower bioavailability when you consume them with coffee.
Interesting.
So even if it's in there, your body might not be absorbing it as efficiently as you'd think.
Wow, that's a good point. You know what else I thought was funny in the review? The writer talked about starting a secret coffee club with their friends to try Java Burn together.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah, they were all kind of in on the experiment together.
I see. It makes sense how these health trends can become social experiences. And that actually brings up another really important point,
What's that?
the placebo effect.
Oh yeah, the placebo effect.
When people share those positive expectations and experiences within a group, it can actually lead to some real perceived benefits, even if those benefits are partly psychological.
So they might feel a difference just because they're expecting to?
Exactly. It doesn't rule out the possibility that the ingredients themselves could have some effect, but it's definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah, good point. I also noticed
Good.
that both the review and that podcast script we got,
Yeah.
they lean pretty heavily on the whole all-natural ingredients thing,
Uh-huh.
which to me just screams marketing tactic.
You're spot on. All natural is like the ultimate buzzword. It doesn't automatically guarantee that something is safe or effective.
Right, because poison ivy is natural.
Exactly.
And that's not something I want to be putting in my coffee.
No, you don't.
So we got to look beyond those kind of vague claims and actually see what the specific ingredients are and what the research says about them.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's dive into that then. What else is in Java Burn? And does any of it actually have any real science backing it up
Yeah.
when it comes to this whole boosting metabolism thing?
Great question. Let's take a look.
Expert.
So another ingredient they talk about is chromium,
Chromium.
and it's a mineral that's involved in regulating blood sugar.
Okay. So does that mean it helps with weight loss or boosts metabolism?
Well, some research shows that chromium supplements could maybe help improve insulin sensitivity, which might help with weight management.
Oh, yeah?
The research
Yeah.
is kind of mixed on that, and the effects are usually pretty small,
I see.
especially if we're talking about just adding it to your coffee.
I was going to say, I bet the amount of chromium in something like Java Burn is pretty tiny.
That's a good point. The dosage is important. We need to know exactly how much chromium is in each serving to really figure out how much of an impact it could have.
And I'm guessing, like with most things, everyone's going to react a little differently anyway.
For sure, individual responses can vary a lot.
Okay, so chromium might do something, but it's not like a magic bullet.
Right. It's not a guarantee.
What about some of the other ingredients?
Okay, so there's also L-theanine,
L-theanine.
which is an amino acid found in green tea. It's known for its calming effects.
Wait, calming? I thought this stuff was supposed to give you energy.
Yeah, so how does that work? Well, the idea is that it might help counteract those jitters some people get from caffeine.
Oh, okay.
So, it could provide a more balanced energy boost without that sudden crash later.
So it's like a smoother energy curve.
Exactly, instead of that sharp spike and drop.
I got it.
But again, more research is needed to really say how effective this combination is in Java Burn.
Right. It's kind of feeling like a theme here, like maybe some potential benefits, but not a ton of hard evidence.
Yeah.
It's making me think about that part of the review, where they said Java burn is a bit of an investment, which makes me think it's not exactly cheap.
That's true. And it brings up a really important question. Is that potential benefit actually worth the cost?
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
because you have to buy it online, right?
Oh, that's right.
I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, the review mentioned ordering it online, and I think the marketing guy in the podcast said you can get it from the official website or Amazon.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But that brings up a whole other issue. Counterfeit products
Oh, yeah.
and those shady websites.
Do you even know if you're getting the real thing?
That's a great question. It's really important to be a smart shopper when you're buying supplements online. Like, sticking to reputable sources is key.
Okay.
The official website is usually a safe bet, or well-known retailers like Amazon.
Makes sense.
You definitely want to avoid those random websites you've never heard of.
So it's like,
Yeah.
even if you believe in the ingredients, you still got to be super careful about where you actually buy this stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered the ingredients, the possible benefits, and the cost. But I think there's a bigger question here.
What's that?
Even if Java Burn does everything it says, how does it compare to other ways to boost your metabolism?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like, can it actually replace things like eating healthy and exercising?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And honestly, no supplement can really replace those fundamental things. Like,
Yeah.
a healthy lifestyle is always going to be the foundation.
It's so tempting to look for a shortcut.
I know.
But real lasting health benefits usually come from putting in the work.
Exactly. Consistent effort over time.
So regular exercise,
Mm-hmm.
a balanced diet, enough sleep. Those are the cornerstones of a healthy metabolism.
Absolutely. Java Burn or any other supplement should really be seen as like a potential addition to those things, not a replacement.
So it's like, if you're already doing all the right things,
Yeah.
maybe Java Burn could give you a little extra boost.
That's one way to think about it. But it's important to be realistic about those expectations.
So we've talked about a lot, the ingredients, the science, the cost, the whole healthy lifestyle thing. But I'm wondering, like, even if someone decides to try Java Burn, how do they really know if it's working?
That's where tracking your progress comes in.
Okay, tracking.
It's one thing to try a product, but it's another to actually measure its impact and see if it's really making a difference.
Right, because it's easy to, like, convince yourself something is working just because you want it to.
Totally. So, how can we help our listener turn those feelings into actual data?
Well, the review mentioned a journal. Could that be helpful?
A journal can be a great tool. Encourage our listener to keep track of their energy levels throughout the day,
Okay.
especially in those mid-morning hours,
Right.
where the reviewer said they felt a difference.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They could also track any changes in appetite or cravings, since that's something Java Burn claims to affect.
Oh, right. Good point.
Um.
And what about if they're trying to lose weight? Should they be weighing themselves regularly?
Regular weigh-ins could be helpful, but it's important to remember that weight fluctuates naturally. Encourage our listener to look at the overall trends over time, not just those day-to-day changes.
So, like, if they see a consistent downward trend, that started when they began using Java Burn. That might be a sign it's contributing.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So basically, it's about taking those anecdotal feelings and turning them into more objective observations.
Precisely. Are there any other ways our listener could measure the effects of Java Burn?
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, if they want to get really data-driven, they could track their resting heart rate.
Resting heart rate.
There's some research that suggests a link between metabolism and resting heart rate. So if their resting heart rate goes up consistently after they start using Java Burn, that could possibly mean their metabolism is getting a boost.
Wow, this is awesome. We've gone from, does Java Burn work, to here's how you can find out for yourself.
Exactly.
That's what I love about these deep dives.
It's all about using critical thinking to approach these health trends. It's not about blindly believing everything you hear or dismissing everything out of hand.
Right.
It's about gathering the information, weighing the evidence, and then making an informed decision. That's right for you.
That's perfect. So to sum it all up for our listener, Java Burn's got some intriguing ingredients, but the science is still out on whether it really works.
Right.
It might have some benefits, but there are no guarantees. And it's definitely not a substitute for a healthy lifestyle.
And remember, we've given our listener the tools to evaluate the information for themselves and decide if Java Burn is right for them.
Exactly. And if they do try it, we've given them ways to track their progress and see us actually delivering on those promises.
Awesome.
So no matter what, just enjoy your coffee. And if you have any other or burning questions, you know where to find us.
We're always here to help.